My name's Chris Enright. In 2002 I was a deputy with Berowra Brigade. December 2002 and the months preceding it were very, very dry, and we were very worried about a very bad fire season coming up. Berowra Brigade at the time had been very proactive in having street meetings for the residents and informing them on how to prepare their properties. The message was very well received and put into action by the residents. The message that we gave them as well was it's not a matter of if a fire comes, but when it comes and what to do when it does. The big fires in 2002, as far as Berowra are concerned, started on Wednesday, the 4th of December. A fire started out at Maroota in the west and in the Baulkham Hills Shire about mid-afternoon. Smoke was clearly visible from Central Station when I was catching the train home from work. The fire spread rapidly eastwards and moved into the Hornsby Shire on the following day, or maybe even that evening. On Thursday the 5th of December, fire was spreading rapidly around the Dural Arcadia properties. It was very widespread and there were not enough units to deal with the outbreaks. Numerous bushfire brigades and New South Wales fire brigades, as they were then called, were dispatched to do property protection out there as the fire was very widespread and many properties were under threat. On Thursday evening, the fire jumped Berowra waters from Arcadia down to Berowra waters, and it jumped over into the valley below Berowra and started up the valley towards Berowra. Many extra fire units from both services were dispatched to Berowra and spread around the threatened properties. It was a case of watch and wait to see what was going to happen. On Friday the 6th of December, Berowra 2 was allocated to Arcadia for the day. We had 2 fire tankers in, Berowra 1, Berowra 2, and it was allocated to Arcadia for the day to do property protection. I was the OIC, or the officer in charge of Berowra 2. Before going to the station that morning, around 6 o'clock, I drove around the Wyanna Street Barnetts Road loop to just check how the fire was going. It was moving slowly to the east without any threat to properties at that time, and it was down near the fire trail. There were approximately 20 fire units or fire appliances spread along the loop, so I was confident that I could leave the area and that my own property would be safe. At Arcadia, Berowra 2 was assigned to protect mainly farm buildings from widespread fires. There was actually fire everywhere. And you'd put one out and another one would occur. And spotting, it was so dry, it was spotting very, very fiercely. During the morning, there were many phone calls back and forth between myself and my wife as to how the fire was progressing in the valley below our house. She assured me numerous times that everything was okay and that the fire was very slowly moving and did not seem to be of much concern to anyone. My wife, daughter and her friends were very active in ensuring that the house was as free of any combustibles as possible. Even though this had been done earlier, they were checking over and over again. Lots of water was applied to the gardens, fences and the building extremities. Around midday, my wife phoned me and said, "I think we've lost the house." I was taken aback and didn't know what to think except as to where we were going to sleep that night. She told me that they had been doing their property protection when all of a sudden the fire reached the area directly below our house, and there was either a wind change or whether it was the terrain, but the fire suddenly made a rush through the treetops towards the top of the ridge behind the many properties. At least 7 houses, including our own, were in its direct path. The smoke was so thick that my wife and daughter and her friends could not see what was happening to our house. The noise to them was so frightening as it sounded like the jet engines of an airplane as it was taking off. They put the dog and themselves into the car, with difficulty drove to the safety of adjoining Barnetts Road. Thankfully, the New South Wales Fire Brigade and bushfire brigades had deployed units to each of the properties in the fire's path. There were firefighters in each property when the fire front hit, and this is what saved the houses. New South Wales Fire Brigades had actually brought all the trainees from their training facility to Berowra to assist with the firefighting. The house 2 up from ours caught fire, but it was quickly extinguished as firefighters were inside the house at the time. Afterwards, it was clear that our house was not burnt down because of the work which had been done to prepare it for such an emergency. All our gardens and fences were destroyed, however. The eaves of the balcony had started to burn, but had been extinguished quickly. Just the plastic roofing was damaged beyond repair. We were very lucky. The neighbours were excellent. They carried buckets of water and used hoses to extinguish any fire in the garden. They knew exactly what to do because of the street meetings which the Brigade had held in the preceding months. It showed the true community spirit of the people of Berowra. The next day there were door knocks from community groups to see if we were okay. Even Sky News came and interviewed me, and my friend from New Zealand saw the news item and phoned me to let me know and to see if we were okay. Thankfully we were. The fire control officer at the time told me personally that they had thought they were going to lose around 200 homes during the fires. Thankfully there were only a handful damaged superficially. After 2002, the New South Wales Government changed the regulations to make any future houses built on land adjoining bushland comply with strict guidelines to ensure they were fire resistant. Thank you. I hope this has been helpful to prepare your houses for summer.